presentation to cover the revenue cycle management aspect. So initially we will start with customer definition, how we can define the insurance contracts and various policies and rules associated with that particular insurance or any other payer the hospital may sign up with. Then we will look at how we can define the fee schedules, I mean hospital based, price based and specific fee schedules for each and every individual corporates or insurance companies, how we can do that. Then we will see how patient can be linked to the payer or sponsor details, if it's a cash patient or if the patient is covered by corporate or insurance, how we can identify that and say who is the sponsor for that particular patient. Then we will go through an outpatient workflow, primarily covering the insurance aspect, because that is where we see the complexity is involved. There are many billing systems available and most of them handle the normal flow related to cash patients and all of those stuff. But where the real complexity is there in handling the insurance companies and the associated aspects, and also when it comes to handling specific conditions and relating to corporate contract also. So we will mainly today's demonstration will focus our strength in that particular area, and towards the end we will show you how we are strong in handling the cash management related aspects too. There again we have an extensive solution to handle the various cash management aspect. So we will cover those aspects as well, and we will take an outpatient workflow and also an inpatient workflow to demonstrate how our system caters to both the needs of an outpatient as well as inpatient. So now, as we said, we'll start with a contract definition or customer definition, wherein the various payers who are associated with this particular hospital can be defined using this particular screen. As you can see here, it's a tree. It's more of an hierarchy. So the way we capture the customers in the system is in the form of hierarchy. So there are various levels. The first level being the market segment. This is again we can define, custom define. There is no hard and fast rule as to how each level needs to be configured in the system. But what we generally recommend is to have the market segment as the first level, to say private or government, however you want to classify the market segment or the payers with the hospital is dealing with. So that can be defined in the first. The second, say for example here within private, we have various customer types. It can be other affiliated clinics and hospitals who are sending or referring patients to our organization. It can be corporate, big corporate bodies which send the employees directly to the hospital, and we may have a specific contract with these corporates to serve the patient on credit basis and claim made from the corporate later. And also insurance, which is will be the primary focus for our today's demonstration, and TPAs and various other customer types. Like this we can have n number. There is no hard and fast rule again here as to how you need to define this customer type line. Okay, so now the third level is the actual payer. When it comes to the first level, I said market segment, second customer type. The third is the actual payer, who is actually paying for the service, whatever treatment you are providing for a particular patient. So in our case, we have taken an example of state health insurance. We have just created a sample insurance company in the name of state health insurance. And you can see here the type level is customer, which is the third level, and the parent level is the customer type. What is the customer type name here? The insurance. So we are saying this customer is under the customer type insurance. Like this, when you are defining corporate, we can say that particular the customer type as corporate, and so on for various other customer type as well. So once we have the basic information, this link here is for linking with accounts receivable modules. So we have our own account receivable, and also we have the capability to integrate with other third-party back office solutions as well. So we can always link the accounting perspective as to which this payer, what is the code, we can link there. What is the contract period, what is the start date and end date for the contract, and how frequent or the frequency interval in which the claims are generated for this particular customer. Like mostly for insurance companies, it's usually, or for corporate events, the general practice in the industry is to process the claims once in a month. So for the month of say July, the claims will be generated in August. So from day 1 to day 31 of July, we'll start processing the claims in the first week of August, like, and so on for each and every month. So those things we can specify, whether it's 15 days or 30 days or whatever it is. And the follow-up duration, this I will explain when we are handling the consultation. Like, what is the eligible bed types which is available, whether shared bed only is covered by this particular insurance company, or which other bed types which is covered. I mean, again, as per our definition, we have the capability to define the various bed types, both critical and non-critical bed types, like ICU and NICU, and male surgical ward, female surgical ward, and so on. And we can define which bed types are covered, like by this particular insurance company. So few other information, I will leave that. I will focus on the main thing. On the bottom, what you see is the input mode, data type, and this is for capturing the policy ID. So each patient, the insurance company would have given an unique policy ID for each and every patient. So when we are linking the patient to this particular sponsor, we need to capture the policy ID, and that needs to be sent as part of the claim when we are sending the claims back to the insurance company. So while we are capturing the policy ID, we need to have some sort of validations to ensure that proper data is keyed in by the user. So those validations we can specify it here as to what is the, whether it's numeric, alphanumeric, what is the length, range, all of those aspects you can specify it here. That's the left bottom and what you have. So whether it's a free text or predefined list. The predefined list, when you are dealing with a corporate, sometimes they may send the list of employees they have, which you can update it in the system, so which you can cross-check whenever you are linking that particular patient to that particular sponsor, whether he or she is part of that predefined list, which you have received already from the company. Like, so those things can be defined here. So the next aspect is relating to the documents. See how you identify when you are linking, saying that this patient will be, the sponsor for this patient is this particular insurance company. What documents in the user who is linking that patient to that particular sponsor needs to verify before doing that, before applying that sponsorship details. So we can say, as far as insurance is concerned, it's usually the insurance ID, which each subscriber will have an insurance ID which is given by the insurance company. So we can say the insurance ID is the information which needs to be verified before linking the patient to this state health insurance company, and whether that checking is mandatory or non-mandatory, and whether that needs to be a scan copy, which needs to be, that insurance ID needs to be scanned and attached and saved as part of the transaction, or whether scan copy not required. So all of those validations you can specify, and this information you can vary from one customer to another. So in terms of corporate, it may be a referral letter from the corporate. For insurance, it can be an insurance ID. If you are handling government patients, it can be some other approval from the government. So like this, for each and every category, as to what documents which is required, we can specify, and it can be more than one also. And also we can define it's mandatory, non-mandatory, whether scanning required, or whether it's enough to check this information only once, or you need to verify this information every time the patient visits the hospital. That's applicable too. So at which interaction points. So every time a consultation bill, meaning a visit is registered alone, it's enough you check. Or every time an outpatient bill, whether it's a radiology bill or lab bill or pharmacy bill, every time a bill is generated, individual billers needs to verify that. Those policies, depending upon the need, you can configure in the system, and system will automatically apply those validations and ensure the treatment is given to the right patient with the right sponsor, and we are not wrongly linking any patient to an insurance or corporate and end up being rejected later. So this is on the overall customer definition as to what information we capture in general against each customer, and again this is one-time information which you need to define. So the next major thing, which is the main difference we have with any other system in the market, at least the majority of the systems in the market, is the ability to define the contract of this particular insurance or TPAs in terms of a rule. We will show you that. So we'll open the contract definition window. So once you open the contract definition window, whatever rules which we have predefined, okay, this insurance company, if there is any rules which is defined, which is listed here, and we can keep adding to this list as required. Like, what do we mean by this rules? So any payer, once an hospital signs a contract with any payer, be it a corporate, be it an insurance company, see, there will be a set of standard exclusion, there will be a set of rules relating to co-payments by the patient, there will be a set of rules relating to limits, whether say inpatient maximum limit is this, outpatient maximum limit is this, like that, and number of physiotherapy sessions, or number of chemotherapy sessions, and so on. So whether it is relating to exclusions, whether it is relating to discount, whether it is relating to co-payment, anything in the contract, any contractual terms, what is there and it's signed between the hospital and the insurance company or any other corporate, can be translated into an individual rules in the system, by which we say that each and every line in the contract can be translated into a rule here, and system will have a ability to automatically validate this at the respective places. So we will see few samples as to how we can define this, what flexibility system has as far as defining this particular rules is concerned. As I said, this is our major strength as far as handling the insurance or TPAs contractual rules are concerned. So number one, just a few samples I will cover in this as to demonstrate the various capabilities. The first rule is relating to the consultation deductible. So what is this rule talking about? The name is something what we give. I mean, it's just for our own identification to know that what this rule talks about. So it's a free text. And once the rule name is there, I will come to this various other information. I will directly go to the applicable criteria. Okay. So we define the criteria for that rule. What does it mean? How to know, how to identify the patient, a consultation service is provided for the patient. So for that purpose, we say the criteria is the encounter type is outpatient, meaning any outpatient, and the charge category. You see here encounter type. In the left you see the set of fields. Here diagnosis, service item, and all of those stuff. In this case we have chosen encounter type as the information using which we want to build this condition like. So encounter type is the information, and I'm saying in list. So the respective values relating to encounter type is picked and then displayed in the values column. I can choose outpatient, inpatient, more than one values also. Since I have chosen in list, I can choose multiple values here. So in this case, this particular rule is relating to outpatient, so I will choose the outpatient alone. So I am saying encounter type is outpatient, and then there is an and condition there. There is another condition I want to check also, which is the type of service or the service which I am billing for that particular patient or being provided to the patient, if it's related to consultation. So how to identify whether it's related to consultation? I have something called here the field information relating to the charges or services. The services can be grouped into many different classifications, high level, middle level, and low level classifications. There can be n number of classifications against the type of services we provide, and in that we have identified the consultation related, outpatient consultation related charge codes under a category called outpatient consultations. So I am saying the charge category is outpatient consultation. Then this is the condition. If this condition is satisfied, what I need to do? will show you that. So I close this criteria window and then open components. Here, if you see, there are various information, but I will just focus on the information which is related to this particular rule alone, which is the deductible amount. So I am saying amount of $25 reals or rupees, whatever the currency relating to where we are. So there should be an amount, a fixed co-payment amount, or an $25 needs to be deducted from the patient every time a consultation service is provided. Meaning if the total charge is 100, $25 will be paid by the patient, remaining 75 will be paid by the insurance company. Like, so what is the amount which needs to be deducted is what we are specifying, and it is applicable on the net. So this is one rule. So similarly, we have other rules associated with collecting a certain amount of the bill from the patient. Say here we have like OP service deductible. Usually most of the insurance company has a fixed deductible for the consultation and percentage based deductible for any other outpatient service apart from consultation. So how we can define that? So in that case, again I am saying the encounter type is outpatient, which is we are talking about outpatients only here, and the charge category I am saying not in outpatient consultation. So what does it mean? Any other service apart from consultation which is provided to the patient. And just to show you the capability to add multiple complex conditions like this, we have added another condition to say the ordering doctor specialty is not in general surgery and plastic surgery. What does it again mean here? So system has the capability to capture who is the ordering doctor and its related specialty, who is actually providing the consultation, which is the operating doctor and specialty, and the in-charge doctor who owns this particular episode. The in-charge doctor and the actual person who places the order can vary, especially in an inpatient environment. The patient will be under a particular specialty consultant who will be the in-charge, and whereas the patient may be seen by other specialty physicians also, and also assistant consultants within the same specialty. For that purpose, we need to differentiate as to what is the ordering doctor specialty, in-charge doctor specialty. So we have that provision also. So, and we can define a rule based on that. So in this case, once this criteria is met, I am saying again, we have a condition wherein we can say the co-payment for this is in terms of percentage, say 10%, which needs to be deductible, subject to a maximum of say 100 or 150, whatever it is. You can say there is, most of the insurance company has that thing also. They say a fixed percentage needs to be collected as co-payment from the patient. At the same time, there should be a limit for it as to how much amount, there should be a cap on how much amount you collect as co-payment from the patient. So in that case, we can specify the max deductible as 100 or 150, whatever it is, as per the contractual conditions in the insurance contract. So we will quickly go through the other types of rules. So this, what we saw, is primarily relating to the deductibles. Like similarly, we have rules relating to discount. Say laboratory discount alone, we will take that sample relating to lab. So if you want to have, we have a fixed price list. We will show you after this screen, once we finish with this, as to how to define the hospital price list and overrides against each and every insurance companies and so on. Supposing there is a discount, standard discount, which you have agreed with the insurance company on the master price list, you can specify what is the discount agreed with the insurance company here. So how to identify the lab services? Again, it's based on the charge group or category. So we can say a category of the service is lab, then what is the discount which needs to be applied like. So we'll open the criteria against the lab discount. Here we are saying the charge group, pathology and laboratory. It's a different way of classifying the thing. So once that is defined, and what is the discount percentage which needs to be applicable like. So you can click on the components and then show that how the discount is specified there like. So here we are saying 10% discount. Similarly, for each category of service or specialty based, dental alone different discount, other specialties different discount. So any conditions you may have when you want to give a specific discount against the price list, whether it's based on category or specialty or whatsoever, those things, however complex the condition is, you can define that in the criteria and specify what is the discount like. So just two more rules before we close this and then move on, just to show the other capabilities relating to how we can capture the exclusions. When it comes to capturing the exclusions, there are two major type of exclusions which is generally specified. One is based on the diagnosis, things to say that pregnancy is not covered, diabetes is not covered. Those things, how we will know a particular patient is being treated for diabetes or pregnancy? It's based on the diagnosis of the patient only. So each and every charge we can associate with a particular diagnosis, and we will know that this service or this investigation is being done for this particular diagnosis of the patient. So in this case, what we are seeing here is ICD-9. As I said, we support all diagnosis code standard, ICD-9, CM and AM, ICD-10, CM and AM, and SNOMED as well. So any standard code set can be populated here, and we can choose the relative diagnosis to this particular diabetes. Once we have chosen, and we can go and then say this service is not covered. So meaning any diabetes treatment will not be covered, being it's a chronic disease, will not be covered by the particular insurance company. Not all insurance company does that, but most of them does. So if that is the case, we can use this to define like. So it's not just diabetes like this, any information, just to have a proof of concept that we can define exclusion based on diagnosis as well. So for that purpose only showed you this particular rule. And also we have the capability to specify, in this case we have defined it as not covered. Some of the services, the insurance companies may say that before providing the service to the patient, get an approval from us and then proceed live. So pre-approval would be required before proceeding. In general, any inpatient before admission, it will require an approval. That's why you are having a rule called inpatient approval. Similarly, for services like MRI and all of those stuff, they may say if at all you are providing an MRI, any MRI which needs to be done to the patient, get us an approval before proceeding live. So in this case, I am saying charge category. The charge category of service is MRI, which is under radiology. Okay. Then I am going here the components and I'm defining it as pre-approval required. So similarly, we can say not covered, pre-approval required. We saw the discount percentage. Discount can be specified in terms of amount also. We also looked into the co-payment aspect, deductible, percentage, amount with maximum limit. And also we have something called maximum coverages. This is for when you have a limit specified against an inpatient treatment or outpatient treatment, say for dental, for pregnancy. They say delivery pregnancy is covered, but subject to a cap of say $1,000, $2,000, whatever. And whether the cap, the limit is specified per visit, per episode, per claim, per year, for one subscription year. All of those variations to that also we can capture. And when it comes to physiotherapy, dialysis sessions, chemotherapy sessions, the limit is specified in terms of quantity. So we can say 4 physiotherapy sessions is what maximum cover per episode. Up to 2 or 3 chemotherapy sessions alone will be covered. Dialysis, say 6 sessions alone will be covered. So the limits can be specified in terms of amount and also in terms of quantity. The amount can be before discount, after discount, per episode, per month, per order, per visit, and the extreme flexibility relating to that, it's there. Apart from all of these, few other provisions relating to this hike percentage and hike amount. What is it? Is when sometimes for certain people you want to increase the rate from that of the base price. So if you want to do that, you can define it, but it will not be reflected in the bill. In the bill, it will apply this hike and then show the net amount. After applying hike, whatever is the amount as the gross. If it is a discount, the discount will be reflected in the bill as a separate information for them to know the discount is applied, which is agreed as per the contract. This hike is something internal for the hospital. The visibility of this information will not be available for the respective customer. This is the flexibility what we have as far as defining the contractual rules are concerned. So by which, as we said, we guarantee any information in the contract can be translated into a rule and there will not be anything which we will not be able to define here. So this is on the customer definition. Now we will look flexibility what we have in terms of capturing the fee schedule. Then we will get into one workflow to show you how all this information which is captured, these contractual rules, these fee schedules, everything, how it is applied in a real time. When it comes to specifying the rate against each and every service, most of the system will have a provision to say that you have, say, 2000 charge codes or 3000 charge codes which you bill. Against each charge code, you will have a provision to tag a price. That's what most of the system will have, and this price you can vary per insurance companies also. But the flexibility what we have in our system is the customer definition. When we are talking about the customer definition itself, we showed you that it's a hierarchy. We have the market segment, the customer type, the customer, and so on. So the fee schedules rate is something you can define against any of this level. So once you have the master price list, that can be defined at the first level. Any overrides at the individual systems alone we can do. Okay, we will just show you those aspects. Here, as you can see, there is the list to the left to say that against which level, whether against a contract or against a customer or against a customer type or the policy class, which is the lowest level in the hierarchy. Against which level we have defined the price, we can specify it here. Say for example under private, click on private, first visit. So here what flexibility we have. So I will edit a few of the rates which is defined already and then show you. So here we are saying this particular definition, rate definition, I am doing it against the first level, which is private, meaning it's applicable for all private customers. This price is applicable. I'm saying it's a first visit, consultation first visit, which is a charge code. And here the calculation type, I'm choosing it as per unit rate, and I'm saying 150 gross. This is the standard provision which most of the system has. This is straightforward. Now we will get into the complexities one by one. We'll see this is a consultation rate which is applicable for all specialties. But certain specialties alone, there is a difference in the consultation rate which the hospital charges. Say for example, neuro and plastic surgery alone, the consultation rate is 200 instead of 150. So in that case, mostly what we will do, most of the cases, we will be creating a separate charge code saying consultation neuro and consultation plastic surgery, as we need to duplicate that in the service master, charge master, and we have to specify a different rate, and the user while doing the consultation he has to pick the right code and then charge. Then only system will pick the charge. Here you may not do that. We will have one consultation code, and we can define the rate based on a condition also, not just against a particular charge code. So in this case I am saying consultation neuro and plastic surgery. I will click on this condition. Here I will say this is service for which I am billing, and the condition is the ordering doctor specialty is relating to neuro and plastic surgery. So I am specifying it as a condition, and then I am saying for this condition the consultation rate need to be override as 200. We cancel this. Here we are saying the rate is 200 like. And system will automatically, depending upon the specialty, for any other specialty it will charge 150. For this particular specialty alone, it will charge 200. So this is one variation to it. Now we will look at specific cases relating to ventilation charges, oxygen, OR room, wherein the charge is based on an hourly rate. Say for example, ventilator charges, mostly they say for up to 3 hours of ventilation, the charge will be a specific charge, and then greater than 3 hours, there for every additional hour there is a specific charge. So this is the criteria the hospital has. So in this case I can list down all the ventilation charges. I am saying the charge code is relating to any of this ventilation, and the unit of measurement is hours, that's defined in the charge definition. If it is less than or equal to 3 hours. So you can have less than, greater than, all of those complex operators also. It's more like a formula builder within Excel. If this condition is met, then I am saying aggregate rate 300. What does that mean? In the charge, while capturing the charge, the user will specify it as 2 hours or 3 hours as the ventilation, how much hour time the patient was on ventilation. System will not multiply it by quantity. In the previous scenario for the consultation and where we saw per unit, if there is 2 quantity, then the rate needs to be multiplied by the quantity and arrived at the actual rate. Here, for the entire, whether it's 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, it's a fixed rate of 300. We are specifying the calculation type as aggregate rate, meaning system will not multiply it by quantity, and it is 300. And I have a complexity in this rule saying for greater than 3 hours, so there should be for additional, every hour additional, there is an amount which needs to be charged like. So there again, I can specify the condition saying it's greater than 3 hours and calculation type as aggregate formula, and we can specify a complex formula like this. I'll just scroll down this rate formula after showing the condition. So in this case, I'm saying greater than, and then the rate formula. So I'm saying 300 plus bill quantity minus 3 star 75, meaning 4 hours, meaning 4 hours means 300 plus 4 minus 3, 1 star 75, 375 will be charged. So like this, a rate can be defined as a formula even. It's not a fixed specific rate. So like this, you can build a formula. So another flexibility, then we will move on to the actual workflow, is all these rates, whatever so far what we have seen, it's defined against the private, meaning it's applicable for all private customers. Supposing we have any overrides or specific rate which you have agreed with a certain insurance companies or corporate alone, then whatever is this override from that of master price list alone, you can go and define it against this particular insurance companies. So we will see that. Can we close this and go to state health insurance, wherein we have defined a couple of rates which we will show them. Say for example, under state health insurance company, we have defined a specific rate for MRI services alone and a specific rate for medications. Medications, again, if you see, you need not go and define the price against each and every medication. Simply you can say any service under medication, if the category of the service provided is relating to medication, so for any medication for that matter, the calculation is a fixed markup on the cost rate. So the cost rate is something system will integrate with the supply chain management module and pick the appropriate cost for that particular item and apply the markup whatever we have specified. It can be 30%, it can be 40%, 20%, and we can have sub-classifications under these medications, and then say surgical supplies will carry a higher markup, and when it comes to certain medications, it's a fixed selling price also. So we can differentiate that. Certain medications pricing can be fixed selling price, certain can be markup, and based on the category also, the markup can vary. And this again, we can define or vary from one insurance company, from one customer to another customer also. For one customer, the markup can be 30%, another customer can be 20%, and so on, whatever. So those things can be defined also here. So you have the ability to go and then have a master price list and override, specify the override against any of the customer, and the various flexibility relating to specifying it as a rate or as a formula or complexity involving ventilation, everything you can handle. This is the core of our billing module. With this strength as far as capturing the definitions, either in terms of fee schedule or in terms of contractual rules, show how it is applied in various places. So now we will take an outpatient workflow. We will take a patient, link the patient to this particular insurance company, then generate a consultation bill, and also we will do a bill for lab and radiology charges, and then show what is the workflow involved. So we will open account linking screen, which is a screen used to define or link the patient to a particular account, or specify the sponsor details or payer details for that particular patient. This is the account linking screen. So we have keyed in the medical record number, say 5620. So against this particular medical record, so we can specify the sponsor details. So this is again being done for the first time. So once the patient comes for the first time and the patient is registered, then you capture the patient says that I have an insurance who is covering for treatment or some corporate who is covering. So he or she will be referred to the respective desk who will be in charge for handling these credit customers, wherein they will use this screen and then link the patient to that particular sponsor after verifying the necessary details. So by default, it will pick and then show as cash patient. You need not do this for all patients who will be paying by cash. So by default, system will assume that the patient is a cash patient only. Only the patient has specific sponsors, say insurance or corporate. That's when we need to link the patient like. So I will specify the link type as MRN. I will explain later as to what other link type means. So I'm specifying the link type as MRN, and against this I will link the patient to the state health insurance. Within the state health insurance there may be multiple health plans or multiple policies within this insurance company like. So this particular patient is subscribed under which policy of that particular insurance company. So you can specify that in the sub account. So the main account will be state health insurance and the sub account will be the respective policy. So like this here there are various other provisions. Once you link, as per the definition in the customer as to what you have specified as the validations, required validations for capturing the policy ID and the necessary documents which needs to be verified and scanned and attached. All of those verifications and validations will happen here. Some of the insurance companies and certain part of the world, they allow to auto validating this, verifying this process even. So in this case, whenever we link the patient to this particular insurance companies and health plan, a message will be sent, a request will be sent to this insurance company, verifying, asking them to provide or to verify and say that whether the patient with this particular policy ID is having a valid insurance contract with them or not. So that is again possible. We have the capability to integrate or talk to these insurance companies directly also and send a message and receive message electronically and accordingly apply that information here. So that is one way. Wherever, whichever insurance company does not support it, it will be a manual thing. Manual verification of the insurance ID and whatever the policy start and end date as specified in the insurance company, you can capture that in the system. That is the from and to date what you are seeing here. And also you have the provision to have multiple payers also. It's not just one payer as we are seeing at state health insurance. There can be a secondary payer, there can be a tertiary payer also. We will look into that particular scenario later. We will show you that. For now, we will just link the patient to one particular account, and later on we will take a scenario to demonstrate that particular. We will save this, and then now we'll generate a consultation bill. Now, since the focus here is mainly on the RCM, I am leaving all the related aspects. Of course, the patient registration is required, and we have a registration module, appointment module, and the extensive admission, discharge, transfer, ADT modules also, which is not the scope of today's demonstration. In case where we need to implement our solution as a standalone billing module, we have the capability to integrate with any other third-party HIS the hospital may choose to run and capture the registration, ADT, and all other information from this system as well. Flexibility relating to that is there, either to run as a standalone RCM shoot, integrating with or using our own administrative. And depending upon the workflow, the consultation bill, why we are starting with the consultation bill, now that the patient is registered and is linked to a particular account, we have identified the payer for the patient. Now at the time of patient wants to see a physician for doing a consultation, the appointment, various other aspects are involved. Once everything is done, the patient comes to the hospital on the day he or she wants to see the doctor. At that time, there may be two different processes. One process is you allow the patient to see the doctor, then you raise a consultation bill after the visit is done. In majority of the scenario, primarily in India and Middle East, the situation is we do a consultation charge upfront and then allow the patient to go and see the doctor. So depending system supports both, either doing a generating consultation bill preliminary to patient visit, patient seeing the doctor, or post the visit. And whatever associated workflow, how the charges needs to be picked based on that, we can handle it. So in this case, we are demonstrating a scenario wherein like a pay as you go, meaning every service you pay and then avail the service. So that's the flow in which we'll be running the outpatient. And inpatient, it will be after the fact. We will see that. So I'm choosing the encounter type as outpatient and choosing the doctor, whichever doctor the patient is seeing, and choosing the doctor. In this case, Alice Doris, his specialty is general surgery. And by default, the charge code will be picked, which can be configured in the system. Or if you have multiple consultation charge code, you can choose the charge codes as to. So in this case, there we have defined only one charge code as first visit, consultation first visit, which will be picked and then shown here. Then we will generate the bill against this particular patient, and then we will show how the co-payment, whatever we have defined like $25 as co-payment for the patient, right? So how that is calculated, you can see that here. In this case, we are generating as a cash patient itself. So it's saying the entire amount needs to be paid by the patient as cash. Supposing we do for an insurance patient, it will automatically allocate the charges and then show. We'll demonstrate that. This is for a cash patient. Here you see the consultation bill amount is calculated as 25, which is the co-payment as defined in the insurance contract like. So how this calculation is done, why it is saying 25, you can see that breakup in the bill details. So automatically system applies the rule as defined in the system and then says the total amount is 150, the co-payment is 25, so the insurance company will pay 125 and the remaining part 25 will be cash like. So that breakup you can see in the bill details. So you can see the breakup here, the net amount being 125 and how it is calculated like. Now we will save the information, and here once you save, there will be two bills which will be generated, one for credit and another for the cash. So you can see that breakup here, and there will be a second bill which will be generated for the cash part of it, and see the number of prints here as 1 or 2. This is the first page. The second page as cash. Okay, we can see that here, consultation cash. What is the amount? And there is, as far as there is a $25 amount which needs to be collected here, right? We can close this. So, and if you see here, it showed the amount what needs to be collected, and there is no specifying about how it is collected like. Here again, there are two process which the system supports. One, the user who actually generates the bill, if he has the authority to collect the fee against that particular bill, system will allow him to do the collection within this screen itself. It's one screen. Before saving, we can say this is the amount and what is the payment board in which I collect. All of this can be done within that particular transaction and then save. So this is sort of decentralized cashier management, wherein each individual biller will have the authority to do the collection against the bill there itself. So it will be one process. Another process is sort of centralized cashier management, wherein there will be 4 or 5 billers handling, but it will be one cashier who will be handling the cash, which is the majority of the scenario. So to handle that particular scenario, we have provision like, for example, that particular one is done by the biller. Now we are in a cashier who has the authority to collect the payment. He will have a work list like this. So this is a generic one. Depending on the user who logged in and what functions he performs, there may be many custom work list which is predefined in the system. One such work list for the cashier is the pending receipt or payment. Click on this pending receipt or payment. All pending collections, whichever is as many bills which is raised by various billers, all those pending for collection will be listed under this pending receipt or payment work list. This again, every time they need not keep running. What usually happens is the cashier, one time he will run this report when he starts the shift, and for each of this report we can specify and refresh interval, which can be 30 seconds, 1 minute, whatsoever, and based on that particular interval, system will automatically keep refreshing this work list. So currently, these are all the patients for whom there is an amount which is pending for collections. Now we have raised a consultation bill against 5620, out of which $25 needs to be collected. Either I can right click from here and then click process, it will open the respective payment or collection screen, or there is another provision also. So it's not necessarily that always you need to go by the work list, but this is the easier option. So you can know that so many patients, once the patient comes, he is not keying in anything. It's just a right click and then process, it will load. So that's one option. The other option, what we are seeing here is we can open the screen, pending collection or payment screen, key in the medical record number, and then you have something called pending details. Once you click on that, all the bills which is pending for collection against this particular patient will be listed. You can choose from that and then apply. This is more steps, but the other provision wherein you just right click and then process, up till this, the bill details for which what needs to be loaded, till that it will apply automatically. No need to key in the medical record number, no need to choose the bill, everything will be auto loaded by the system, and you can simply specify the payment mode by which you are collecting and move ahead. So in this case there is only one bill, so it's listing one bill. If you have more than one bill, you can choose for which bills you are collecting. So the billing for the same patient, there can be many bills raised also. The collection for these bills can be done together. Say there is a lab bill, there is a radiology bill, there is a pharmacy bill. You can go to one cashier, pay for all of these bills together. So that is also possible. That's the flexibility we have. It need not have separate collections for each and every bill. So I choose this bill, proceed, OK. Here I just need to click on apply. So once I click on apply, so I'm saying 25 is the amount I'm going to pay. You can have partial collection also. Supposing the patient does not pay in full, you can specify what is the amount he's paying under the received amount column. In this case, we will assume it's full. So I'll specify apply. By default, the payment mode will be picked as cash and then shown. And it's not necessary the payment mode needs to be only one. We support all types of payment mode, and we support the interface with the credit card devices also, the POS devices, by which we can send and receive the information and auto post those details here. So payment by cash, check, credit, debit card, whatsoever can be captured, and it can be more than one also. In this case, I will make a simple one as single payment mode. When it comes to high value bills, we will show you how we can use the multiple payment mode option. We'll save this transaction. So a receipt is raised. So consultation bill is done, goes to the cashier, patient goes and pays the cashier whatever is the amount which he needs to pay, and a receipt is generated for this, which is handed over to the patient. So the next step would be the patient walking to the clinic, wherein the vitals, nursing staff will take the vitals and we will ask the patient to wait. There is an OPQ management there, and the patient goes in to see the doctor. Once doctor sees the patient, we saw in the first session how the various orders can be captured in the doctor's desk. We assume all of those orders are already placed, and the physician places those orders. And again, as we said, our system is modular. It's not necessary that you have to go with our own CPOE. You can use, the hospital may choose to have their own HIS module for doctor's desk also, and choose only the RCM part. We are flexible, not necessary that you need to have take the complete show. So we will skip those parts. So I will assume that the patient is in the doctor's desk. So that is all done. Now the orders is placed by the physicians for lab, radiology, medications and everything. So these orders will trigger a charge, respective charge. We can define in the system for each and every order from the physician as to what is the respective charge code associated, and accordingly based on the order, and we can also decide as to when a charge needs to be triggered, whether it's upon the order. For example, medication, immediately after the physician is placing the order, the charge will not be triggered. Only after the pharmacy, they specify it as a verify and dispensing is done, then only charge will be triggered. Whereas for lab and radiology, it's immediately upon ordering. In some cases, we may choose for inpatient scenario, the lab and radiology orders may be triggered, the charge code associated with lab and radiology may be triggered after the result entry is done. The point wherein a financial charge needs to be raised can be defined. It can be at the time of ordering, at the time of collecting the sample in case of lab, or upon the result is verified and confirmed. And that can vary for outpatient and inpatient also. All of these again is part of the initial configuration we do for each and every client. So once the charge is done, everything is completed, we have something called different work list called as pending to be billed for the biller, wherein based on the login location he is in, whether he is logged in under lab or radiology or pharmacy, depending upon the location, or is a centralized cashier who can collect payment against any of this department, depending again on the user rights set against this particular user and this. All the respective charges for that patient will be picked and then shown. Like we'll just see that. So we'll open the service order bill screen. Just a minute. So once we open the service order bill, all the charges triggered based on the physician order and it is pending for billing will be picked and then displayed like. So user can select which of the charges and then proceed the bill. Here again, like from the charges whatever it's listed, I can choose all the charge and bill it together, or I can choose a specific charge alone which I want to bill now currently, and for that particular bill alone I can generate a charge. Since we want to demonstrate the various aspects as to what we have configured as part of the contract definition, we'll choose all the charges and then generate the bill for that particular charge. There is an MRI, chest X-ray, blood count, lipid panel, and there is a medication, and there is a glucose test also which is ordered by the physician. For each of these there is a charge code which is triggered. Here again the charge code can be standards like CPT, ICD-10 for procedures, or CPT for procedures, whatever is the charge code standard which the hospital wants to follow, we can apply that, or they will have the ability to define custom charge codes also. There is no restriction again. If it's a standard, it will be preloaded into the system. If it's custom, they can define it like. And as you remember, like there was a rule saying that an MRI because an pre-approval like, and there are few other services here, and there is a blood glucose which we have ordered. As I said, each and every charge you can say for which diagnosis this charge is related like. So this patient has two diagnoses, one say acute appendicitis and another diabetes. For this particular blood glucose charge alone, I am saying I am requesting this charge because the patient is diabetic. I am associating this particular charge code alone with the diagnosis diabetes, just to justify to the insurance company as to why I am placing this blood glucose order like. So this is done. So now once you have associated the charge with the respective diagnosis, it's not necessary, again it's not mandatory, but this information is captured and passed on to the billing. The billing will be more accurate and we can avoid rejections from the payer, be it insurance company or corporate. So you can see all charges we are saying it's for acute appendicitis, but this particular blood glucose alone, 82947 is the charge code, and linked it to a diabetes diagnosis. Now I will generate the bill, chosen all the charges I want to bill, so I will generate the bill, and system will apply the rules whatever we have defined initially during the initial part, the contract definition, and it will check for whether each of the service is covered by the particular insurance company, in this case State Health Insurance, what is covered, what is not covered, everything it will verify and provide necessary alerts to the user. So I am generating now. Based on it, it provides alert saying that 82947 glucose quantitative blood which is ordered for the patient, it's not covered, and MRI, I mean it's a full description. You can choose to have a short description or full detailed description as it is in the CPT. Here we have uploaded the full description, so you are seeing a big description like this. So this user can know there is an from immediately after generating the bill itself as to some of the services which we are trying to provide for the bill for this patient. It's either not covered or required pre-approval like. and this information he can convey it to the patient and then specify, say that there is some services which is not covered or requiring pre-approval. Like the patient is an old patient or for some reason, usually there is a process. Whenever you say it requires a pre-approval, sometimes it takes only 30 minutes to get an approval from the insurance company, and sometimes it takes a long time. Depending on the situation and patient's personal preference, the patient may choose to say that, okay, I will pay for the service now. You are saying this requires pre-approval, no problem. I will pay for the service and avail the service, and when approval comes, I will get it refunded this money. The approval doesn't come, so I mean I've already paid, so it's not an issue. Like, so as far as hospital is concerned, they need to ensure payment for that particular service either from the patient or from the insurance company. So in this case, so the patient's preference is to pay and avail the service and not to wait for the approval to come from the insurance company. Like, so we will drive through this workflow and then show you how it is handled. Once generate, system will calculate, and again if you click on the bill details, you will see that certain services are marked as covered, certain as rejected. MRI meaning rejected. Still now we didn't get the approval for the MRI, so it's marked as rejected. Whereas for blood glucose, it's saying not covered. So there is no need to send any approval request for this service, because in any case it's defined by the insurance company. For diabetes, they are not going to make the payment. And for each and every service, what is the rate, what is the gross? For lab and radiology, we have defined discount percentage. Say 10-20% I suppose for radiology and 10% for lab. Accordingly, the discount amount is calculated, and what is the net against the insurance which will be paid, and the remaining and the cash. You have that allocation of charges between insurance company and cash. It's done by the system automatically. Now I will save the bill. There again, like as you saw in consultation, there will be two receipts raised, one for the insurance and another for the cash. I will save the bill. I will make the collection against this bill. Then we will get into the approval workflow. What happens, how the approval requires to the insurance company, and getting the approval from the insurance company, how it can be captured in the system, full approval, partial approval, and those aspects. Okay, so I'm saving the bill. Receipt is generated. Again, two different bills, one for the credit and another for the cash. Now we will go back to the cashier and make the collection for whatever amount the patient needs to pay as cash. We will make the necessary collection against that particular bill. Now in the pending collection of payment, again we'll choose that particular bill, and here we will choose multiple payment modes. Say 551, out of which 251 is paid by the cash, and remaining 300 is using his card. Like, so you can have multiple payment options, multi-currency handling, any financial charges associated for credit and debit cards which you want to collect it from the patient. All of this, again, it can be definable. We have a separate screen to define the various payment modes and associated financial charges and necessary information which needs to capture. So in terms of a credit card, what is the credit card number, some reference number as per the credit card, the date and the bank details. If you feel like it's appropriate, needs to be captured, we can say that these informations are mandatory against this particular payment mode as part of the payment definition itself. So in this case, we will go ahead and then just save the information. Now the collection against this is made. Now this, meanwhile, actually it's not necessary that the system will wait for the bill to be generated even. As and when the physician places the order and the respective charge is triggered to the billing system, it checks for the payer for that particular patient, and for that particular patient, for any of the services which is requested for requires an approval, system will automatically trigger an approval request for that particular patient. What happens there? So many of the scenarios, many of the cases, before even the patient goes to the respective department to avail the service, the approval would come and the approval information would be captured. By the time he walks into the respective department to avail the service, system will know that there is an approval received already and it will apply. So here, just to complicate the scenario, we are assuming that by the time the patient walked into the department or to pay for the bill, approval is not available. So he has paid for it and then availed the service. Now in the approval department, whoever is handling the approval, they will have an work list like this. Here again there are two ways. One, the insurance company supports a e-approval request and replying to that e-approval request. System can support that. Immediately after the charge is captured, electronically a request will be sent to the insurance company and we can receive whether as to whether it's approved or not electronically and auto apply it within the system. In insurance companies who does not support the electronic approval, then you need to have this manual process. So here I can select and the various status associated as to sending an approval request, receiving the approval, all of those status can be captured within the system. So I'll quickly do an update. I'll select it and then say this approval request is being sent to the insurance company. I can choose the mode. It can be an e-fax from the system or email or manual triggering of electronic approval. So I've sent the approval request. I've chosen the mode. We will leave those details. Now after some time we are receiving the approval okay. So here we are going by the manual approval sending through fax. And this fax message is something can be generated from the system and there can be predefined templates as to how an approval request needs to be sent. All of those things can be defined within the system. Say for in Saudi we have something called the UCOF, Universal Claimant Approval Form. Similarly, different countries, different insurance companies may have different approval forms which needs to be generated by the system. Those things can be defined and linked to each and every customer as to how the form should look like, and accordingly system will generate. Now after some time we have received the approval from the insurance company. Okay, so just to save time I'm continuing in the same thing, but this will happen at two different timing. Okay, in this case I'm saying it's approved. There may be a case that it's rejected, or there may be a case that they have asked for some more clarification in order to approve. They will say that provide us the reason why, clinical relevance as to why you need this investigation for this patient and so on. Okay, so in this case I will assume there is a partial approval. Say the amount, whatever is the amount, MRI, I will say that say only 200 is covered. You can have partial approval also in terms of quantity or in terms of amount too. Or you can specify the full approval, like say 25. Specify the approval quantity. We'll specify it as 1. Not sure. Okay, we'll specify it as 1 and then save. Now that we are marked as this service as approved, we'll save this information. Now we'll go back. Now we have got the approval for the service, whatever we have provided to the patient, and we have collected cash. So in this scenario, it's the same bill which we have generated it as cash. Now it needs to be generated as credit. So this is an sample form, approval form, which can be generated by the system. So we'll close this. We'll go to bill reprocess. There is an option called the bill reprocess, wherein we can choose the same bill which has been generated already, but now there is a change in status. One of the services which was requiring approval before, we have got an approval now if you regenerate the same bill, system will automatically cancel the original bill and generate a new bill with the current status, and also it will calculate the difference in amount as to originally how much amount we have collected and what is the amount which needs to be collected now after applying this approval. The difference in amount, if any, whether needs to be collected from the patient or it needs to be refunded from the patient, will be automatically arrived from the system. We will see that. Slow now. So I'm choosing the bill. I'll choose all the second bill, not the consultation bill, all the services from the second bill, and then I will regenerate those charges. Or you can choose MRI alone. It's our thing. So in this case, I'm assuming we are regenerating the whole bill. We can choose a particular service alone, reprocess that particular bill. So originally the system specified 551 as the amount which needs to be collected from the patient, and that's what we have collected. Now after applying this approval and applying the co-payment, whatever it needs to be paid by the patient, what is the amount which needs to be paid by him? Let's see that. So based on the new allocation rule, whatever is there, it will come. What is the original bill amount and what is the current bill amount? What is the difference in bill amount, if there is anything whatsoever, will be calculated like. This again, since it's a reprocess and if there is a change, it involves sort of any refund which is associated with it. There is a refund authorization process also. Any cancellation of a bill, when it involves refunding of a particular amount to the patient whatsoever, there is an authorization flow associated with it. You can define single level approval, multi-level approval, and all of those stuff. This is one particular flow for outpatient what we wanted to show like. Similarly, there are various other aspects like patient exemption, specifying discount for a particular encounter alone. The patient is not in a position to pay, so as a special case we are giving specific discount to the patient. So all of those provision is there, and we also have the provision to collect the deposit. We can make for a deposit request. Say a patient goes to dental and there is a root canal treatment which needs to be done. A deposit request can be raised and then say this deposit amount should be utilized only for root canal treatment like. So most of the system has a provision to collect deposit, but it doesn't control as to where this deposit needs to be utilized. This deposit is for inpatient alone, this deposit is for dental alone. Like once we provide the treatment for the patient, we know for sure the amount collected as deposit, it's not utilized for any other purpose. The patient has come to a dental and there is a deposit request, he has collected, and supposing we are not restricting the deposit for dental, he goes to some other specialty, say dermatology, and he needs to pay, and he adjusts the deposits whatever which is collected there, then it will be a problem. Dental department would have considered that it's collected whereas it's not collected like. Although nitty-gritties involving request and allocation of a deposit for a particular service and utilizing it for that particular service alone, refunding as to when it can be refunded, the process involved in the refund, that's there. And we have a detailed cash management process also. Cash box opening, closing, cash remittance, bank remittance, shortage, excess, handling relating to the cash management, how the check remittance, clearance and everything related to that. When we collect it as a check, does not get cleared or for some reason or other, how to mark the status as outstanding. So all of those workflows is there, and probably depending on your interest, we will, any specific interest you may have, we will touch upon that also during the Q&A. Now I will quickly go through some, just take 10 or 15 minutes and then show you the inpatient part. Inpatient workflow, it's a complete different workflow of course, but just to show the main aspects associated with the inpatient as to how the system handles the room and board charges, and also when it comes to packaged treatment like say normal delivery or appendicitis procedure, whatever is done for a particular patient, define it as a package, and there can be fixed amount which you are collecting as a package fee instead of going by individual per diem billing. So as far as inpatient is concerned, they call it as per diem billing or DRG based, diagnosis related group based, or package billing, which is the package billing is something like DRG but not as sophisticated as DRG like. So all of this different process, it's handled by the system. We will look into that. So we will jump on to the inpatient flow. So I will just open a particular charge. So we will take a patient who is already admitted. I mean, so when we have created the charges against that particular patient already, we'll just generate the bill and then show you how the room and board charges and the package billing is handled like. Okay, so we are opening the inpatient bill. So it's a different screen as you can see with so many features, because in inpatient billing we are talking about one consolidated bill for the entire stay. So the main difference here is in case of an outpatient, the bills will be generated as and when the service is availed to the patient, either before availing the service or immediately after the service is provided to the patient, like depending on the hospital policy. Okay. In case of an inpatient environment, the bill, there is a deposit amount which is usually collected at the time of admission, and the charges are accumulated as and when it's provided to the patient. At the time of discharge or just before discharge is what you do an inpatient billing. So the various aspects relating to collecting the deposit at the time of admission, pre-approval for an admission, those aspects are handled. Like now we assume that this patient is about to discharge. So the patient got admitted say 10 days before, and the various charges which is captured against the patient is shown here as a summary. So the hematology and coagulation, one service, there is an MRI category, there is one service, and so on. There is 2 medication orders and room and board for 10 days. Individual order details for each of this category, you can view it under the order details. We have the provision to generate bill for the entire encounter, and we have also provision for partial bill for long staying patients. Patient is staying for 6 months or so. Say for the first 3 months alone you want to generate bill and another bill for the next 3 months. That provision again is there. Here you can, since being inpatient and now considering the number of charges which you may need to bill, you have the provision for grouping, filtering, and modifying the date or quantity for some of the orders if it's not keyed in properly by the person whomever captured the charges, anything like. So you can group and then view. So easy, flexible provision, not to confuse with too many orders. Like say for example under room and board, these are all the categories. How we have done for saving time, we didn't go into the detail of admission, transfer and all of those stuff. Like the patient is admitted on 6th of August, predated entry. Now under room and board itself, room and board service category, we'll expand that. Here we on 8th of August there is a transfer made for the patient from deluxe room private to an executive room. Like as this patient is covered by the sponsor is for the state health insurance and it covers only deluxe room private and doesn't cover the executive room. So what the system does is it automatically creates a room upgrade charge, and all of these charges what you are seeing in the room and board, it's not manually keyed in by someone, it's automatically generated by the system based on the admission, transfer and discharge history which is captured as part of the ADT module. Here again we can use our own ADT module or we can integrate with any other system and capture this admission, transfer and discharge, and based on that it will know that since deluxe room private is what is covered by the insurance, patient got transferred to executive, the difference in charge between this is automatically picked and then shown here as room upgrade charge. While we are billing the insurance company, we will be billing the private room only. The difference in charge alone, you will collect it from the patient. So it's a win-win for patient and win-win for hospital. As far as insurance company is also concerned, they are not paying anything more than what they agreed to pay. But the patient enjoys his preference. Like this provision is there. This is one aspect we wanted to show. Now we will generate the bill. So here we assume there is a laparoscopic procedure which is done for this particular patient, and this procedure is defined as a package in the system. How the system handles that? See, once you generate all charges which is defined as part of the package. So when you are defining a laparoscopy surgery as a package, you would have defined in the system, say 2 days of room and board is allowed, and certain, these are all the lab services which is allowed, these are all the radiology services which is allowed, and medications worth say 200 or 300 will be covered as part of the package. So anything within this limit, the patient need not pay anything extra apart from the package fee, which is $4,000 here. Any service which is provided outside this definition, so we'll group by the package so that we can have that clarity. Here again, once it's generated, the viewing the bill details, you can group and then view the information. So we can know what are all the services which is inside the package and what is outside the package. Like, so we'll see first what are the services inside the package. Open drill down of package. So here as per the definition, only 4 days of room and board is covered, is defined as part of the package, and these are all the lab services, and these medications up to a certain limit is defined like. So for all of these charges, if you look at it, the amount, net amount which is payable by the patient would have displayed as 0, because for this is a package service and the patient will be paying only $4,000 and as one amount, not on individual basis for each of the service. But any service which is provided or provided to the patient after the 4th day, starting the 5th day, the patient has stayed for 10 days, all of it will system will identify automatically as outside the package and it will be charged to the patient separately. Like this is again one of the key requirement when it comes to insurance and inpatient surgical procedures handling. So this is again handled by the system exclusively, extensively, with all those nitty-gritties involved in this. There is so many other complexities involved also here as to what happens when the patient is referred from outside, and there is various other complexities involved. So all of those aspects are also handled here. Like